Live. Good night, Belizeans at home and abroad. This is the Belize Affairs Show number 52 for Friday, 13th of October, 2023. We do appreciate that you're tuning in to hear what we have to say tonight, and we hope that we will present a reasonable and a valid program that will bring to the attention of the general public some serious matters that need to be attended to and paid attention to. My name is Leonard Brackett. I will be the host for tonight's program. Usually on Fridays, we deal with constitutional and legal case matters. And I'll just turn it over right now to Mr. Wade for him to do our regular reading as well as giving us a prayer. Mr. Wade?
Thank you, Leonard. As we await our other uh, panelists, no? So, as you rightfully says, my brother, we will continue as how we always present our show now with a reading. I will continue from Timothy, uh, chapter 2, 21, 26, and chapter 3, 1 to 5. Says, therefore, if anyone cleanses himself from what is dishonorable, he will be a vessel for honorable use, set apart as holy, useful to the master of the house, ready for every good work. So flee youthful passions and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord for a pure heart. Have nothing to do with foolishness, ig- ignorant controversies, who you know that they breed quarrel. And the Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome, but be kind to everyone, able to teach, patiently enduring evil, according to the opponent with gentleness. God may perhaps grant them re- repentance, leading to the knowledge of truth, and they may come to their senses and escape from the snares of the devil after being captured by him to do his will. But understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money,
Mm-hmm.
proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, integrated, full, unholy, heartless, unappreciable, slanderous, without self control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, sullen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearances of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people. That's my
Amen.
reading from Timothy. Uh, and also, we always give our show, a prayer, and you know, bow our heads. Divine, loving Father, we come to you again, to preach truth to the nation, and would pray that you bless this 452nd edition of our show, and
Amen.
bless us all, to and give us the wisdom, understanding, courage to do right and to say right. uh we pray, Lord God, that you turn you give our leaders, you know, the will, to do good by people and nation, and speak truth to its people. Lord God Almighty, we thank you for this day and thank you for this opportunity once again. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay.
Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, sir. Uh, for tonight show, we want to deal with some constitutional matters and how our constitution is being pulled, disrespected, and basically being trashed, all by the sleight of hands on the part of those who we have entrusted our governance powers, as in the particular instance of our present leaders of government, whom appear vested with our power to serve us, but have no respect or regards or consideration for us, our well being,
Two, one, two, one, two.
and our constitution.
Read.
So, good night, Gregory. Uh, did Gregory leave us again? Yes, sir. Good night. Good night, Gregory. We
Night,
had
Greg.
launched already. We did our prayer and our reading, and I was just in the process of. He's gone again. I don't know what's going on. Something is going on. But anyhow, we need to proceed. Um, I need to regain my thoughts again. Yes, I was indicating that we have major problems as regards to getting our present leaders of government to honor our constitution, to honor us, respect our constitution, and respect us. I can recall in one instance where the prime minister intimated that he was not willingly violating the laws or contravening the laws or the constitution. When the question was asked of him, why is it that he appeared to be doing that? He said, no, he's not abusing the law or disobeying the constitution. He's only doing it because at that point, I wouldn't, having said that, I wouldn't even need to explain the rest of what he said. Because if he's saying in one breath that he is not violating the constitution and he's not doing it, but then he adds because why he's doing it, as in the sense that if his constitutional commission was not in place, then he would have obeyed the law. Which unto itself is a sleight of hand and outright disrespect for us, the general public out here, for him to be telling us in less than 15, 20 words at the most, that he's lying to us. He's telling he's not breaking the constitution or disobeying the constitution, but then he's telling us, oh, well, he's only doing it because. What kind of idiot talks like that? And we're supposed to believe that he didn't intend to say what he said or didn't mean what he said, like what his wife always said. He didn't mean it like that. When he made the statement about invading Guatemala and stupidness like that, we know we are not in any position to be able to do any kind of craziness like that, but yet he's going to stipulate that and then turn around afterwards and try to say, well, that's not what he meant. He never means what he says, but that means that he always keep on saying what he doesn't mean, which means that either he doesn't have enough senses between his pair of ears, or that he's deliberately intending in bamboozling people. Only when he's caught, then he reverses and he tries to correct himself. But by then, the damage is already done. And when he's not caught, he pushes forward like he's doing. Even when he's caught, in this case of the Portugal scenario, he's still pushing behind the scene to try and get this thing accomplished. So that's how barefaced the individual is. But let me bring back to my point for tonight's show and show how outrageous or egregious this gentleman is. He said that was it not because the People's Constitution Commission, which they authorized, was in play, going around collecting information, he would have then obeyed the law. His own words. I'm going to do some reading tonight from the very law that he's talking about, that they went to the House of Representatives and passed an act, which, by the way, was an illegitimate act because they have the powers to make the laws that are necessary to govern and run the country. They did not need to go and pretend like they were authorizing or empowering a commission to do their job for them or to do what the Constitution currently authorizes them to do, and for them to abrogate their responsibility and turn it over to a commission that has no power or authority in law to make, amend, or change any of the laws of our country as they currently stand by virtue of the Constitution that we currently have. Yes, it is understood that they want to change the Constitution into something more pliable, something that they want to have. But for all intents and purposes, until we get there, they have to abide by the present Constitution. And he cannot be running around saying that he can abide by the present Constitution because they don't have any regards or respect or consideration for it, even though they swore allegiance to it. Why they don't have any respect or regards for it is because they are trying to get a new one done. Who's to tell that if they get a new one done, they will have any regards or respect for that new one too? Because if they're as barefaced as they are right now with the current Constitution and as scofflaws as they are in regards to the present Constitution, how much law-abiding do we expect or should we expect them to be when they create whatever it is that they're trying to create as a new Constitution? Is that Constitution going to say then that they're empowered to just arbitrarily and capriciously pull the laws out of their butt, out of their own head, and whatever comes out of their head becomes the law of the day? We're going to stop being a democratic country, a law-abiding country, and just depend on what comes out of the head of those who have the governance power captured, the ministers and the prime ministers and whoever else not. And then we're going to have a governor general that's going to assent to all kind of bogus stuff that they bring to her because she have not to have any legal staff to advise her other than the attorney general, who is a bamboozler himself and who is working on behalf of the rogue government that we have in place today. Let me read this stuff as I was saying before, okay? As I said, and I told them before, going forward as of the point in time when we had that last discussion, when I said we will hang the Constitution around their necks as an albatross. It won't be like the times before. We're in a different period now, a different time, different dispensation. At every step of the way, we're going to fact check them and we're going to push them against the wall as hard as we have to in order for them to comply with what is required of them being in possession of our governance power. They will not haul and pull our system without consequences. I think Greg is trying to show up again. So, like I said, going forward, we will deal with the constitutional matters, whether it is under the present constitution as we are, or any other new constitution that they try to bring in place. We will have to deal with the constitutional constraints. And as of, like I said before, this present constitution that we have is still valid until we get a new one. They're speeding up to try and get a new one, but until we get that new one, the current one still reigns supreme. It's still the law of the land.
Mute your mic there a little bit there, Greg.
And as a, Greg, something is in there's something in the background competing with my voice.
Greg, this is
Good
Mike. If
night
you
to
mute
you
his mic,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something competing in the background. I can't hear myself. Could you lower it down maybe a little bit or something? Yes. Going forward, I'm trying to stay with the program. I'm trying to read specifically this portion of the same act that they put in place to bring about this commission. And then they are pretending like the act is more than really what it is. So I'll have to refer to it tonight and point out how they're acting in such bogus and unconstitutional way. For example, okay, before I read what I was about to read, I think I need to preface it. So let me go back a little bit further so people can get the context of what is it. In this act, they structured the act as if they were trying to structure a new constitution, by the way, which is a big giveaway in terms of what is it they're after. And they keep intimating that initially when they were telling us that they wanted to do this stuff before they got to this stage, they were telling us, oh, they just want to get information from the general public to see if the people were interested in making any changes to our constitution. That's many, many months ago. And the situation and the circumstance has been changing little by little from then till now, to the point where in the act itself, they stipulated that the commission that they are impaneling will have the authority to get information from the general public and make a recommendation to the Prime Minister as to whether or not anything is substantive enough for them to actually change the constitution, or preferably dismiss the present constitution and replace it with something new, which is actually what they were after from the get-go in the first place. Before they decided to have a constitutional commission, they decided that they had a problem and they were going to deal with it. And the way they were going to deal with it or try to resolve it is put the constitutional commission in place to hide behind while they try and get what they want to have done. So they empaneled this group under a bogus pretext, having the people do consultation with people out in public, which is not really consultation in the first place, and which should have been an education process. They should have educated the people that they know don't know the Constitution. 98% of our people haven't opened a Constitution and know nothing about it. They should have embarked on that with a maximum effort to try and make sure that the people understand what is it that's in the Constitution, and then after they know what's in there, to figure out what is it that they would like to change, if they think that by changing it they will get better governance. That is not the agenda. But let me read the stuff. As I said, it's very self-explanatory for those of us who have the time and the patience and the legalese mindset to be able to read it and contextualize to understand it. I don't know. I think Greg he keeps coming in and out, and it's okay. So part 1 says, this act may be cited as the People's Constitution Commission Act of 2022. And under that Act of 2022, they went on to post a bunch of bogus, improper, inarticulate statements and sentences under categories of sections and subsections and paragraphs, as if trying to emulate our present constitution, but with different wordings. especially as regards to the preamble itself. Now, they didn't deal with any other, what they normally would call the Constitution itself, okay, which is 100 pages long. They put out in this particular act the conditions under which this commission is going to work, who comprises the commission, how they're going to get paid, and a variety of other things just relating to the operations of the commission itself. It goes on to say, there is established a People's Commission. The commission shall perform the functions imposed and exercise the powers conferred on it under this act. And the powers that they give to the commission, in fact, let me read some more. The commission shall perform functions imposed and exercise the powers conferred on it under this act. But nowhere in this act do they confer the power of replacing the government or taking over the powers of governance from the government to such a point where the government is then held hostage and cannot function or follow the laws of the country. Why? Because this commission is in place. They did not give the powers of government over to the commission. So by our extension of whatever thought processes one can come down or come up with, it is to be presumed that the commission is an appendage of the governance structure. They're not a replacement for the governance structure, as the Prime Minister tried to intimate or tell us that he cannot follow the law because this commission is in operations. That was a bogus statement. That was an outright lie. And it was actually, I try to focus on the program and I keep having to, yeah. So for all intents and purposes, the commission, regardless of what powers they were entrusted with, cannot override the government or any government department, or cannot bind the government or any government department, or cannot arbitrarily or capriciously substitute the present constitution that we have, other than to make recommendation. That is their commission. That is the power that is vested in them. To make recommendation to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister will take that recommendation to Cabinet, and Cabinet will take that recommendation to the House, and the House will decide whether or not there's a need to have a referendum, or if they can just go ahead and make the laws as they are currently empowered to do, and forget about a referendum. I'll go to Section 6 of the same act that I'm reading, and it says, functions of the commission. Section 6.1 says, the functions of the commission shall be to paragraph A, conduct a comprehensive review of the Belize Constitution, and paragraph B, prepare and submit to the Prime Minister a final report on its findings of the review. Subsection 2 of that same Section 6 says, in carrying out its functions under the authority under subsection 1, somebody's messing around with my phone here. Under subsection 1, the commission shall, paragraph A, create, let me enlarge this stuff a little bit, please just bear with me. I just want to enlarge, yeah. Paragraph A says, they shall create and maintain a record of views and public opinions and take into account such views and opinion as it considers appropriate. Now, why are they empowered to take into views what they consider is appropriate? Isn't it the public that's supposed to be the driving force behind deciding or informing the commission as to what is it that the public that they're interacting with wants to have the constitution reflect? At least that's the impression that they give to the general public. But like I said, there are hidden agendas and we'll expose them. Paragraph B says, adhere to national values and ethos. And paragraph C says, safeguard and promote the following matters. And it goes on to a whole lot of bits and pieces, some of which came from our original preamble and others that they're currently trying to interject, which, in other words, for all intents and purposes, they're attempting to imply that this is these paragraphs that follow constitute a replacement for what we have currently in our constitution as our preamble. And I don't want to get into reading all of that because it's just a bunch of, I would call it googly up, for not using any term or statement or words that's disrespectful, okay? But it's just a bunch of words that makes very little sense in terms of them stipulating that that might constitute anything better than the present preamble that we have on our current books. So personally, I'll just dismiss it. Whoever wants to go and read it can read it and play with it. I have done so numerous times, so I understand what it's all about, and I don't have the time or the patience for it. I need to bring to the attention of the general public necessary information that people need to know so that they can be educated enough to understand what is being done and the bamboozling that's going on, and so people can recognize when they are being bamboozled. That's my objective. Subsection 3 says, for the purpose of subsection 2, the commission shall afford the people of Belize, both within and outside the country, to the extent practicable, the opportunity to freely express their opinions and make suggestions on matters they feel should be considered in the Constitution. So that section overrides the previous section that I read where it says that the commission shall determine what they want to put into that report and what, if any, things that they would consider to make a recommendation for changes on. They are empowered and given the opportunity and the privilege to participate on that commission to do as they are instructed, as we read earlier, as they are ordered to do. And they are ordered to take information from people, aggregate that information into a report. What they should be doing before taking information from people that people are supposed to be commenting on things that they don't know nothing about is to educate the people. Basically, what we do on this program, they should be doing that in a massive scale. So those people who are the 98% of people who don't know nothing about the Constitution could become educated. Only then it is fair for anyone to assume the posture of asking all mass population to comment on those issues. They cannot be demanded of to comment on issues and or about issues that they have no knowledge and have not been educated on. I'll read section 3 again. For the purposes of subsection 2, the commission shall afford the people of Belize, both within the country and outside, to the extent practicable, the opportunity to freely express their opinion and make suggestions on matters they feel should be considered in the Constitution. 4, the commission may, where it is considered or where it considers it necessary, invite persons, including representatives of professional, civic, political, and other organizations, to appear before the commission to make presentations considered relevant for the purpose or as the commission may specify. In other words, they're going right back. They're just telling in the third section that the commission must do certain things, and then no, they're coming back and telling you again what we had said before or read before that the commission should not be doing. So, for all intents and purposes, whoever put this stuff together either didn't know their damn elbow from their butt, or were just playing around with words. Any good legal judge person would have done a much better job than this. So obviously, because this is done in such a impractical way and in such a haphazard way, and totally out of proper drafting principles and practices, as I would say, it's just a bamboozling process. They're just putting some lot of words together and playing games and pretending like they're doing something effective or correct or proper or in order. And the first thing they got to do is, first of all, know how to number these things, put them in the proper sequence, stop missing out numbers that needs to go where they need to go to reflect exactly what parts that they're referring to. All these things, whoever did the job didn't do what they were supposed to be doing. So I'm saying, not only did they assent to things that were incorrect, their procedures and protocols and practices in order to put the documents together, was I don't know. Let me leave that part alone. I have another part here that I need to comment on. For example, I need to speed up. Appointment of consultants. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do the other piece. Yeah, here we go. I got it. I'll just have to. Okay. This part here comes under miscellaneous. Laying of the report. If and when they get to the point of creating a report, whoever they come about doing it, because I'm telling you, you or listeners, I'm telling you, right here and now, they're not going about this process the proper way, and for all intents and purposes, I'm of the opinion that it was all set up from the very beginning to fail. That's my conclusion. I could be wrong, but on matters like these, I don't play games, and I don't take these matters lightly. And I'm not going to comment on something that I don't have enough of a command on the subject matter to be able to open my mouth and be made or be proven wrong. My credibility is not going to go on my, having to be put on the scale and measured and found wanting for credibility, for telling lies, or for me speaking out of turn, speaking to the wrong issue that I don't know much or enough about. And I did not bring this matter to your attention the way I'm doing here until we had the hard copies, until we had the copies of the documentation. Earlier in previous program, I intimated what was going on. But now I have the privilege to be able to read it to you so you can hear for yourself, even though you may not have had a copy for yourself and read it for yourself and know what kind of sleight of hand and bamboozling these people are playing with us. So, under the section miscellaneous, the laying of the report, the Prime Minister shall, within 6 days of receipt of the report, submit under section 6.1, which I read earlier, paragraph L and paragraph, under 6.1 and paragraph B, the Prime Minister shall lay the report before the National Assembly. I can tell you right here and now, whoever made that decision for 6 days for that to happen, either did not understand how government works, or, like I said, intends to have the matter to become a failure. Because the Prime Minister will not be able to, within 6 days of receiving that report, review it with his legal team, take it to cabinet, review it, set up a meeting with the House and lay that matter on the in the House on the table for the House to be able to debate or discuss. That will not happen in Belize. So whoever put that in there is misguided or has hopes beyond reality. The minimum, it should have been 2 to 4 weeks, somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks. We have a constitution that is 100 and odd pages long. If we're going to have a constitution that they're going to try and create to enhance what we currently have, I would presume that it ought to be a bit more than 100 and odd pages, or at least bigger and better than the one we have right now. Unless I'm also correct by my previous assumptions to say that it was designed to fail because what they're after are bigger fishes. It is not so much the contents of the present constitution or even the new constitution that they're after, but the results that they can achieve by going through that process. So I'm looking forward to seeing that part come to fruition. We are within 6 days after the Prime Minister gets that document delivered from the Commission, that he will be able to put that on the table of the legislators in the Assembly. It's not going to happen. So don't say I didn't tell you so. Number 22. A referendum shall be conducted where the National Assembly passes a resolution declaring that the matter stated in the report, whether the Belize Constitution should be repealed and replaced or amended. The last word amended was just gratuitously put in there because the intent is repeal and replace. Don't get fooled with the other word attached there that says amended. That is the power vested in the current government, and the present constitution grants the present government to amend, which they keep on doing. All parties that came into power since Independence Day have been amending our constitution right, left, and center. That power is currently vested in them. So they don't need a constitutional reform commission to grant them any powers to amend the constitution or to get any information that justifies them needing and wanting to amend the constitution. So that word amend is a gratuitous word that they just throw in there. They're a bunch of slicksters. So I am saying to you, the Belizean people at home and abroad, stop getting on yourself bamboozled by learning something that you need to know, and stop to take for granted that these hyenas, jackals, and vultures that we have entrusted with our system are going to do right by us. After 42 years of independence and at the point that we are today, when we can't figure that out, then, I don't know what else to think or to say. But these fools think that they know what to think and what to say and what to do. That is to continue bamboozling us, continue taking advantage of us, and continue lying to us. And in this paragraph 22, section 22 here, which comes under the Referendum Act, chapter 10, which they are now attempting to amend as per what I just read. I'm going to read it again, read the rest of it. 22. A referendum shall be conducted where the National Assembly passes a resolution declaring that the matters stated in the report, whether the Belize Constitution should be repealed and replaced or amended, is of sufficient national importance that it should be submitted to the electors for their view through a referendum. Even the wording in this particular section here is like we ought to say when a hunter go to bush go hunt, with some firearms, and then go use some scatter shot instead of one bullet, direct shot, pistol or gun or whatever. They use one scatter shot gun. When Mr. Wade, then 16 gauge gun where, you shot that scatter shot and you shoot out anything in sight, anything where they out there beyond the muzzle of the weapon is target or fair target and is subject to get shot. That's how the man and they go on with. The way when they have this thing drafted, right? And again, they're intimating that the legislator will decide who, or they will decide whether or not there's the need for a referendum. Now, remember now, the original information that they put out there is that if they want to change certain part of our constitution, they have to have a referendum. If they decide that they could go ahead and make whatever change they want without having a referendum, they'll just go ahead and do it. They have a super majority. And by virtue of having the numbers, they think that they have the right to slight the present constitution, bypass the present constitution, and just make up whatever they want to make because they have the powers of lawmaking. They're not prepared to abide by the current constitution and to abide by the basic structure doctrine and the supremacy of the law doctrine, where the constitution is the supreme law of the land. They want to abolish all those criteria. And they will decide whether or not they'll give the people a referendum or that they will go ahead and just make whatever change. They can make whatever changes they want now so long as they don't violate certain cardinal part of the referendum, such as our basic rights that they cannot write out of existence. So even if they create a new constitution, the first thing they have to do as a responsible government and to abide by the constitution, if they have any respect or regards for it, is to transfer or preamble into the new constitution. So for all intents and purposes, they're bamboozling and they're carrying on. Then again, for example, under section 23, see, because of the way they have the stuff written there, like I said, they put the wrong numbers in the wrong places. I was just about to make mistake and follow there when in fact I know better. So I can't allow myself to be bamboozled or tricked like that. But let's say under section
Mr.
23.
Chairman, have me an excuse.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, if you can hear me,
Uh-huh.
I'm really getting hit by the ISP.
By what?
I try using my virtual server,
I noticed
and
you're
they
having a
are
little
still
problem.
disconnecting me. Every time I command, they're hitting me, and the service drops. I try using my virtual server, I'm still getting hit. And I know for sure that it has nothing to do with the ISP. Because if I turn
There's
to a
interference
movie, I
going on.
can actually see it.
There's
So I know
interference.
that there's some sort of...
They don't take kindly for us to be doing what they're
Right.
supposed to be doing.
So have
and
me
doing
an
it as effectively
excuse
as
when
they're
you
doing,
see
but
me.
yes, sir, no problem.
I just speed up like that.
Still want you to queue up that stuff there, though, Greg. Okay, after Leonard is finished, you can.
Okay, thank you very much, Greg. I'll just proceed so we don't lose the public, in terms of what we were trying to say just now. No, we just want to get to a point where I can wrap that part up and get out of it, and then deal with the other matter.
Go ahead, sir.
Under section 23, it says the commission 23.1, because there are different parts of 23. Okay, 1, 2, 3, or whatever. Under 23.1, it says the commission shall stand dissolved. Paragraph A, upon submission of the report to the Prime Minister. So as soon as the commission submit that report to the Prime Minister, that commission becomes null and void or becomes dissolved. In accordance with section 6.1b, as we had read before, and paragraph B of this section 23 says, on the expiration of the term of the commissions or any extension of the term, whichever occurs first. Subject to section 3, the Secretariat and all staff of the Secretariat, including any technical committee, if not dissolved earlier, or earlier, uh, consultants or advisors or other experts established or employed by the Commission shall cease to function upon the dissolution of the Commission. In other words, as soon as they turn over that report that they are under the gun right now to produce, even though they have lost 8 months out of the period of time that they had initially to do it, and there's no guarantee that they're going to have an extension, but an extension is provided for here if the Prime Minister is willing to concede for it. If that commission gets disbanded and the cabinet, the Prime Minister and cabinet decide that there was something that they need to add to that report or modify in that report before they take it to the House for a vote, it is the prerogative of the Prime Minister at that point to do whatever the devils he wants with that report. So the commission will not be in on that part. They cannot object to nothing because they are disbanded. They have no power or authority. At that point, they will have finished serving the purpose or usefulness. Whatever the Prime Minister and cabinet takes or propose to the House, we, the general public, will not know much about it until it becomes law. Because whatever they put a referendum out there to say whether they should or should not change the present constitution, they will not put a copy of the present constitution on the ballot so people could read and see what's in there, and put a copy of the new constitution that they want to put in place based on the report that they had given to the Prime Minister. That will not be put out there in the public for people to parse like, oh, I'm doing right now, go through bits and pieces of it, haul and pull it, and figure out where the deficiencies lie or the advantages lie. That will not be happening. The referendum will consist of a question or two as regards to whether or not you want to change your constitution and whether or not you want to allow that constitution to take us into an independent republic status. And probably a third one, whether or not we want to elect our own head of state. Because those are the big marbles that these guys are after. That's what they want to play with. And at that point, when the people go to vote in the referendum for these issues that I just pointed out just now, they will either say yes or no, based on individual preferences rather than individual knowledge or awareness as to really what the difference pro or con are. So right there again, the general public will have to say yes or no to whatever and then get bamboozled. And by the time the general public get a chance, probably 40 odd years from now, like right now we have 40 odd years, and they still haven't got a chance to learn and know enough about their constitution. Another 40 odd years, let's say cut it in half. Another 20 years or 21 years after now, when the general public start being a little bit more constitutionally wise, they'll realize what we changed for what we got. And by then, it would have been too late because our system of governance would have been changed. We would have probably been, at that point, 20 years from now, in a dictatorial system. As a republic, we are probably by then, we'd have probably had 2 or 3, 4 overthrow of our governance powers by then. And these guys could care less. Because somehow or another, they feel like they're immune, that they will become the government in history that is never overthrown by their population as compared to our neighboring republics. I wish them luck. So much for that grandiose idea. As of right now, they can look at Guatemala and see what's going on. So it's all timely. But these guys don't care, which is my problem. These guys don't care. And we already vested them with our powers of governance. That's why then they give us so much bukut so often. Because they can. And then take pleasure out of treating us like that. Um, there's more that I would like to say, but I think I've abused my timing or my part of the time so far. I would just like to turn over to Mr. Wade for any additional comments that he might want to make in addition to what I've just said.
thank you, Leonard. As the
You're welcome,
public,
sir.
already know, my brother, that what we have been talking about for over many, many, many months now, and the end result is showing up, daily. But first of all, I'd like to shift a little from that just for a minute.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
My heart goes out to the war victims, both Palestine civilians and Israeli civilians. I watch in the news the Israeli drop pamphlets in Palestine and giving them 24 hours to get out of their country. Um, but at the same time, right after they drop the pamphlets, they start bombing these poor civilians, women, infants, and elderly. You watch them packing up and just walking. A lot of them don't have means of transportation or getting out of wherever they live, and they leaving with only the clothes on their backs, which is so inhumane and so sad to watch. And I hope that the world is watching, and yet you're gonna have some leaders, side with whatever has been done, right, to these innocent civilians. So my heart goes out to the war victims, and the victims is going to be civilians who has nothing to do with Netanyahu problem nor the Hamas problem, right? They are you know people that don't been going to be caught up in something they know nothing about. And you see that already, the thousands of civilians that are dying, women, infant, and child. I'm elderly. It's a sad, sad thing to watch. Anyone with a heart would say, my, what is this world coming to? Like I quote in Timothy just a while ago, we are seeing the end result, right? This is the sign of times. So that said, Leonard, you you said a mouthful there, and I just hope and pray that the people listening and the people that know what's going on are catching on, and they're seeing what these people are doing to our country, right? Like our good man says always, Gregory, these people tell on themselves, what they want to do,
Mhm.
right? You said they set out, and we've been saying it all along. They set out to do one thing, and now you see they flip on another thing, right? So we see plain that what we have been saying for months, that the agenda that they having, you know, it not change, right? Because they really want to have Belize to become a republic. But I
Mhm.
have said, and we have said before on this platform, why not wait until the ICJ has ruled, right? Because remember, Guatemala is claiming Belize, and likewise our neighbor down south too, uh,
Honduras.
Honduras, right? So, and in any court of law, you will have a winner and you'll have a loser, right? So it seems like the Briseño administration already know that we are a winner, right?
So he is aiming, and his People's United Party is aiming to become the first president of Belize. Right? That's all that mission is all about. Power. We see how they are bamboozling. They have online voting. You see how they are using the schools who cannot even vote. Our children who cannot even vote. You see, they went, the diaspora
Who can't vote either?
who can't vote either. Right? So they will use
Very
that
sad. Very sad.
whole consultation process. Yes, we have consulted over 400 because you know what, Leonard? The man, the selected chairman of that committee, which is a PUP operative, surprised at that man, right?
The who, Mr. Wade, the who let me catch with the money when them going south.
Um,
It's not a relevant question. I was just
yeah,
I was just
the
trying to be
name right
funny.
there because I know the
No. It's
individual
all right.
there.
It's all right.
But anyway,
Go ahead.
you know,
Bunch of
you
scoundrels, man.
see, what these people aims are, right? Like you said, Leonard, they have a super majority in the house. Super majority, right? They could pass any law that they want to pass at the rate they are going. One, they do not respect the courts. Two, they are the gross violators of our constitution, right? But you see, these people, they are untouchable. These certain individuals in this country. And if you watch the peoples who are in line with want to change our constitution, the ones that are going about in these town halls and saying that they are consulting the entire nation, when at some of these town hall you have 200-300 people, 50 people,
But they
right?
understand the assignment, Mr. Wade. They understand
Their
the
assignment,
assignment, sir.
their assignment. So how dare this handful of people will speak for the
Ludicrous.
entire Belize? They have a bad style. I heard the foreign minister says that he is with Palestine. The Belizean people is with Palestine people. How could he assume that? Why couldn't he say, well, I, Mr. Courtney, is with the Palestine, or I, Mr. Courtney, is with the Israelis? No, you don't do that. How you do that? You go to a referendum and say, who do you want to support, Palestine or the Belizean people? If they say vote majority and said yes, then you could say that.
But why did he have to even say
Right?
or make a statement on
Why
that or
did you
pronounce
want?
on that?
So don't go and speak for me, right? Because I'm a Belizean, and you said that the Belizean people they have a very bad style doing that, Leonard. When they go beg for the Belizean people, right? They beg in the name of the Belizean people, right? And when they get that package, when they come back to Belize with that package, who do you think get that package? You think the Belizean people get that package? No. It's handpicked people that get that package that they went and begged in the name. I want to know, listening, because truth, these people got to stop doing that, man. Right? But, it's a sad day in this country, Leonard, to see what is going on, and like
But
I
Mr.
say,
Wade,
you know who is going to suffer.
Mr. Wade, just a second, sir. Why did our foreign minister had to make any pronouncement at all? If he wasn't going to make a pronouncement, a personal pronouncement, and he was going to make a pronouncement based on the whole country. Just as you said, why didn't he consult? Or why is he just going to arbitrarily and capriciously make a pronouncement on all of our behalf? Because Belize, most Belizeans are Christians. There are few agnostics. There are few who don't believe in God, atheists. I don't know if maybe he's one of the agnostics or the atheists. I know he's not a Muslim because most Muslims wouldn't have made that statement like the way he made it. And I would venture to say, from what I know of Belizean Christians, most Belizean Christians would not have made that statement either. At least not that kind of way. They'd have qualified at least. But why did he have the urge to make a statement and attribute it on behalf of the whole people?
That's my point,
Couldn't he
right?
have just said, well, that's my opinion or his opinion,
That's my
And that's
point.
the end of that, because everybody's entitled to an opinion.
So I am deeply offended as a Belizean and a taxpayer, right? And one who has served this country, right? I'm a true patriot of this country. Don't go and speak for me out of turn when you didn't consult me, right? That's a very bad thing that they always do. And another thing that they need to stop doing, that word, everybody they get, everybody they help everybody. They need to stop that, right? Because they know damn well, I talk past and present government, Leonard, that's a habitual practice,
Yes,
right?
sir.
That's your habitual practice. They need to stop that because they know damn well who they give and who they do not give. So why in the world are you going to say everybody? The word has meaning, right? When the outside world here, outside world who donated and who give, they say, oh yes, well, you hear what the politician said, they help everybody with the money we give them, right? Which is a darn lie. They need to stop that. That's my point, right? Because every time they get some kind of package for this country, only a few get it. The poor and less fortunate, get nothing, right? So my point is too, is that at the end of the day, I think I've said it. The People's United Party, they are trying all kinds of tricks to get what they want. Um, at the end of the day, it is my opinion that they will get what they want and they will turn this country into a republic, right? Um, like I say, I would like for them to wait for the ICJ, right? And that you mentioned, Leonard, is that the report is going to come back to him, and in 6 days, 6 days, how in the world, right? So
Not
if
in
if that
Belize.
if that is stable, Leonard,
Not
and
gonna
that
happen in Belize.
and if that is on writing and gazetted, as they got the stamp of approval from them, you
Mhm.
know, whatever they say, I say this to say that I think they already have it in writing. They already have something already that they will present that they want, right? So Flux, they didn't say 3 days because it's already there. They already have it. You understand what I'm saying, right? All they have to do come that 3 days, they table it. This is it, right? That's so the 6 days. If it goes the legal way, it's not going to cut it, right? So
The
he
Mr.
says that
Mr.
he
Wood,
he want to get everything done, and Mr. Chononoa as the chairman of that committee should table to him the result, right? And at one point he said a year, and you see he bubbled his mouth and he said, "Oh no, within 6 months." He said a year first, then he dropped it to
the
six
time
months.
is running out. Remember, from the
So
beginning of this discussion, many months
exactly.
ago, I've been telling us and the
So
general public that they
it is
want
of
to
my
get this
opinion,
done
Leonard, that
before this present or current
they
term
are
is
of
up.
it is my opinion, that before their term is up, they do not want to go to a general election, right?
Mhm.
They do not want to do that.
Becoming manifestly clear.
Exactly, right. And it's a sad day. Like I say, all those fanatics of the People's United Party, they will see the true colors of this People's United Party administration. And God forbid, we got the UDP take office. God forbid, right? Because the guy Shine Barrow as the UDP leader is right in line with this Briseno administration. He talked about Patrick Faber crossing the line. He
Yeah,
didn't tell. Go ahead, Leonard.
right there on that same point, right there with you. I know to take away from you. I want to add it. I want to add on to it. He talk about crossing the line or the aisle because Patrick Faber agree with something with the opposition, with the government stated. Didn't he agree with quite a few things that the government was trying to get done recently? And even members in a one party was kind of flabbergasted that he, as the leader, would get up and agree to things that he discussed with the rest of the committee or the rest of the
Exactly.
members then.
Right.
So where does he come off with his neophyte attitude
So
and ignoramuseness to try and say because
exactly,
Patrick
right.
Faber dared to agree with something that was contrary to his interest,
So
that he would try to, the man is finished destroy a party and not give party one chance to get resurrected.
exactly. So my point is, right, and I will leave it back to you. So my point is that who the Belizean people have now to speak for them or to rally for them or to stand up for their cause? No one. Because it says
selfishness.
You have the PUP agenda, want to be the first president and the power that they want. You see the length that there's going, and this Shine Barrow guy, he wants to be the same thing too, right? Although
all about self-aggrandizement, right? And personal.
It's all about himself, right? So I don't know who. Well, he might fool his supporters or but he doesn't fool the vast majority of Belizean, because we see his clear agenda, right? He never stand up and says, Mr. Britannia, you're going the wrong way, right? And he even can't claim, you see, the guy think he's smart, He claimed within his party, within his minions, right, that nobody will contest him for leadership. Not right now. What that is telling you, he wants to see himself up to election time, right? So if
whenever the PUP fail, the
PUP party is kicked out, right? And there is no independent, no third party, so automatic it's going to be the UDP. And who's going to be the leader of the UDP? Shine Barrow, right? When Briseno already went through and got Belize to a republic, right? But for whatever reason, Shine Barrow picked up and he gonna become the president of
not a prime minister. Not a prime
minister. That's not his aim, right? That's not his aim. How dare him, right? Well, that's between them and the party. I could care less. But what I'm saying is that, the thing is that the way these people are doing it, and my greatest fear is what is going to happen to the Belizeans, black mestizos, right? And true patriot of this country. You see how these people are strangling their way right now. They're making laws to become, untouchable. What do you think when Belize become a republic, right? What do you think will happen? You think the poor people will have any say? No, we're going back to slavery. That $5 we're going to get might go back to $1 an hour, right? A lot of people are taking this thing serious. And I'd like to end by this. I applaud the church, the Catholic Church, the one church that I watched on last Sunday in San Pedro. But he had a sermon about the touching of the what the government want to do is change the constitution, right? And he spoke in length, right, about that. And I call on the other churches in this country, right, to speak out on this issue because it's directly affecting and will affect your congregation, right? So let's hear from the churches, man, and let's hear from this senator, the church senator in the house. Let's hear him put his foot down, right, and tell the prime minister that it's not good what he's doing. It's not good for Belize, right? Let's hear him do that. So, Leonard, like I say, we just got to keep educating our people, man, and bringing it clear to them, as what Belize will look like, as a republic, and the length these people are going, the things that they are doing. One already says that, Belizean need a new identity. Belize need a new identity, right? I would like to ask Mr. Cordell Hyde, what is he talking about? I know myself as a Belizean, right? What other new identity? I don't know.
Maybe the man no really appreciate being black. Or maybe he think himself as a mestizo.
So,
or maybe he think that he could be like Mr. Briseño, who could run across Guatemala with the wife.
So maybe it was a mistake, Leonard. Maybe it was a mistake the guy made, right? And you heard them already want to separate. Some of them want to separate from the crown, right? They say it's time to separate from the crown. So we got to listen to these guys, right? So, sad situation.
I'll show you right here, right now.
Go ahead.
With why it's not a mistake.
Belizean, wake up. And as to our diaspora, hey, hold these people accountable, man. Demand equal participation, the right to contest in an election, right? The right to contest in an election. Demand that from the politician we go visit, right? Please do that. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. I want to reinforce what you just said. And I want to point out, before I do the reading, I want to point out my conclusion. Okay?
Please do, sir.
In other words, I want to try to be orthodox now. My conclusion to the reading that I'm going to make is that, as you stipulated earlier, the Creole people are being marginalized in our country. And there's a lot of them that are volunteering for that marginalization process. Volunteering is not being done against all of them will, it's being done against some of them will. Some of them see what they happen, and then they cooperate to make it happen. They are traitors to their future generations. Because while they may be happy with what's going on, I know the future generations now will be happy. But let me read the thing then after I done said what I had to say about what I was about to read, no? In the schedule for the same PCC Act that I was reading earlier tonight, which is the focus of the whole presentation for tonight, and the unconstitutional effort of the government, it says that these particular entities will constitute that PCC, and it went on to enumerate them, name them, and enumerate them. For example, the People's United Party, United Democratic Party, other political parties, Belize Chamber of Commerce, Belize Business Bureau, Belize Network of Governmental Organizations, that's what it's, yeah. National Trade Union Congress of Belize, Belize National Teachers Union, Public Service Union, National Association of Village Councils, Bar Association of Belize, University of Belize, Belize Council of Churches that you just referred to earlier, Belize Agro Producers Sectors Group, Belize Medical and Dental Associations, National Garifuna Council, representatives of Maya organizations, Youth Leaders Alliance of Belize, National Student Unions of Belize, LGBTQI, the National Women's Council or Commission, Office of the Prime Minister, the independent media. I recall that the Creole Council requested to be given an opportunity to participate, just like all these other groups, LGBT, Mayan, Garifuna, everybody else in the country had an excuse or a reason justifiable by the Prime Minister for them to be included or for him to include them. But the Creole black people them that have been the backbone of Belize, and way back in the Lagos days them until today date, the Lagos, the Chicle, the whole shebang until today date. The Prime Minister want to tell me in our face that we are a minority. So what will they hassle about? I thought the Mayans were a minority. I thought the Garifuna was a minority. I thought the LGBTQ was a minority. Is he saying that there's more LGBTQ
That's what he's
people in
saying.
Belize with more power and the need for representation in our highest law of the land creation, that we don't have as much right as they or the others have? That's how racist the man is. He put
Yeah,
it
you
in black
have
and
it.
white for us to see for ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay? And he put it in the commission. And when they ask him about it, he tell we in our face with a minority. But who make we minority? That's my closing for tonight. Go ahead and take the rest of the time, Mr. Head. You have at least about
Thank
15
you.
minutes to roll, sir.
Thank you.
Whatever subject you want, go. God is strong.
Thank you, Leonard. You know, I have always, stick to the matter at home and the suffering of our people on a daily basis, right? And it seems that our leaders just turn a blind eye, right, as to the suffering of our people, the injustice of our people, right, the poverty in our country, the healthcare crisis in our country, the joblessness in our country, crime and violence at an all-time high in our country. And yet, you have a foreign minister when mad at the outside world who gave our Belizean, for instance, Taiwan, and name
Canada.
specific like what, yeah, and Canada.
Canada. Those are the two that you
Yes.
specifically call out.
He says that these people are not doing right by Belize because these people and this nation offer our Belizean people scholarship, jobs, and after they get that job and they finish with their scholarship, choose not to come back home, right? That's to show you how authoritarian these guys are. A bunch of dictators
dictators, right? A bunch of scoundrels, a bunch of self-interests, right? How dare them to tell a Belizean man, you know, after you get this good education, you have to come back home, come sit down and work on a BPO or sell some weed or do some other illegal stuff for you to survive. And when you do that, you will be arrested and jailed, right? Because then you won't be able to afford an attorney, so you're going straight to jail, right? That's the way he vexed fat, because he said publicly, you should come back home, come sit down. I urge all Belizean who has the chance, get the opportunity, if they have to swim the river, do it like the Salvadorans and the Mexicans and the Hondurans and the...
So weird, they could do it like me.
Well,
You could do it like me.
Okay.
I had to fess up.
Okay, see.
I had to fess up.
All right, see.
That's how I come when I come the first time.
Okay, see. See what the outcome,
Come
right?
to the
See
back.
the product. See the product, right?
But that never stopped me.
Right? See the product. I didn't swim, Leonard. I gone legally, right? But here I am, right? Here I am. Be able to voice. Be able to voice. Not afraid to speak out on behalf of my country and people. And I'm not asking for a penny, right? They don't have to give me back a penny, right? But anyway, how dare these people, Mr. Chairman, when it says that, you know, these nations and these countries are doing Belize a disservice when they keep and he says the best and smartest minds, he said, right? Belizean, right? They go there and they get the good education and thing, and they don't want to come back home.
He's just making excuses for their own failures. Okay, because if they were running the country,
I like to tell him,
the country will be in a better
most,
position.
Leonard, by Belizean people at home and abroad, most people, Belizean band, Belizean pub, are not fortunate like these guys. Their father was ministers of this country, got their riches on the backs of the Belizean people, and was able to give them scholarships to go and study for attorneys and doctors and all the good, right? That's how they become who they are today in this country.
I know the whole family.
I mean, we all know them.
And I have archive on them.
Exactly.
From grandfather all the way back.
So I'm not talking no stupidness. And here you are going to talk back down on a poor Belizean who want to make a better life for himself and his family, and they make a good living over there and send back money to maintain this country and the family.
To pay for his salary.
Right? To pay your salary. You're just one of them. And I say, as always, I said the other day on a couple of Wednesdays ago, you know, through our medium, we want to thank all those people who help this economy going home and abroad. I didn't thank the government. I didn't thank the politician. I didn't. You heard me. I thank the diaspora, right? Who contribute, I said, 65% of the daily activity. You watch the amount of shipping agents. I mean, I talk real now. The amount of containers that come in this country on a weekly basis for Belizeans. The barrels and everything and the money and everything come for Belizeans. And it wasn't sent by the ministers or the politicians. Hell no, I'm talking truth. Right? And yet, they go over there and talk all kinds of and promises and give the Belizean diaspora the right to participate in the electoral process in this country. Not only want their money and their goods and their items, not only want that, man, you all are hypocrites, right? I call on hypocrites and leeches. Need to stop do that, right? Give the Belizean diaspora the right, the ones them that want to participate, like myself. Not give me hard time, man. Right? Not give me hard time to want to participate in the electoral process in my country. Right?
You're not a crony, Mr. Weird, and that way then.
I'm not a crony. I would never be one. I would die this way. Right? So, and you have many Belizeans over there, Mr. Chairman, that want to do same. But because of the laws that they pass, we're afraid to challenge it. But this time around, it will be challenged. Right? When I put my name down to participate in the parliament, this time round, you refuse me, we're going to court. Right? Let the judge tell you, right? That only they do wrong. Right? But anyway.
You notice they get judges that could easily be compromised too, right? That
exactly.
They could contract or not renew their contract or whatever. You know, they don't want the Belizeans be the judges anymore.
Exactly. You see what they do,
so
right?
Nefarious these people are.
They import them. When they get here, they read them their rights.
Right.
How you say they give them the what? They what?
They read them the right act.
Yes, and they give them the
test them to see if they understand their assignments.
Exactly, that's the word I'm looking at. Yes, they give them their assignment, right? So you have a rogue government, you know,
criminals, man,
who breach our constitution on a daily basis, right? They need to stop that, you know. And I call, you know, for equal justice in this country, man. Poor people, if they not got money to get a good attorney, you know, you end up in jail, right? And it's so sad and innocently, right? I call on the government to start to attend to home and create some employment.
Mr. Wade, you could finish up the wrap up in a minute, so I could take the last minute.
Yes,
I could take the last minute after you from the
you know, do the right thing and tend to our people, right? And protect our country, create some employment, ease the burden from the poor people, man. The poor people are suffering in this country, right? Please, man, you know, have the resources to do it. Why not do it, right? What is the problem? And yet you guys gonna want another term, you know, right? Just remember that. Cause maybe this $20 and this $50 might not cut it. Just telling you. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, you know, I call on the independent thinkers of this country. It's your time now. The country need you. Put your name up as an independent candidate. It's time.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you too, Mr. Wade, for your contribution to the program tonight. It was a nice and lively program, and we hope that our listeners will take away some positive benefits as a public benefit, and they would be a little better off after having heard our program than they were before if they hadn't heard it. I hope that the information we have put out there, people will double check, triple check, and make sure that they affirm and confirm, and make sure that they have it in their pocket, they use it when the time comes, because that time is definitely going to come. There's no question about it. We see all the signs, we pass all the mileposts them. As we keep racking up the mileposts them, we know what part we head. We know how many miles we have traveled along that same path, and we know what part the road will lead to. If you left Belize and go up on the Western Highway, you know I end up the Corozal unless you cut through Hatterville or John Smith Road or some other road. Once you hit the Western Highway and you decide to go straight, you know you end up the Benke. You might pass Belmopan before, as you know, the road passed through there or along there. But you will end up the Benke if you continue all the way through the Western. You know, end up the Corozal. And the way we see this road marks, where we go down, or then guys will take we down, we definitely see that we're in for some serious times ahead. And if we're not prepared, I don't know. I noticed that they are cutting up some private lands along the highway right now or around the Belmopan area, and then they sell and they try to encourage Belizeans from abroad to buy lands and come build. Each Belizean is entitled to a piece of house lot as a minimum. Mr. Price said that from 1956 that I can remember. The first meeting I gone at Cinderella Plaza with my grandmother. Don't care if she's stool, make she sit down and I sit down and listen to Mr. Price when they were building up Cinderella Plaza, Cinderella area, filling up the area behind there. Every Belizean supposed to be entitled to a plot of land where the man was preaching.
Entitled.
Right. Since then till now, only the people who are bringing big money in their pocket and go spread one cheese around the place, get big tracts of land, and the average Belizean get hard time. Even if people would have want to use the land as a collateral to get a loan or they want to sell it to survive or to do whatever they want to do with it, that shouldn't be the business of the government. The government should just deliver the goods to the people instead of only to the people who could give them only something on the side, because that's all that's going on right now. And then do it in such massive quantities that there's very little going to be left behind for anybody else to get later on. But anyhow, I'm 1 minute past my closing, and I'll just like to say thank you very much for tuning in tonight, and thank you again, Mr. Wade, for assisting with the program. Greg could not be with us tonight because he had some internet problems. So on his behalf and in his absence, we'd just like to say thank you all, Belizeans at home and abroad. Please check in with us again.
And thanks to our viewers, Leonard.
Yes, sir. I had posted one of them earlier. It says good night all. And I'm not too sure. I don't want to call names because I can't. There's no name attached to it that I can see visibly here. No, I suspect who that person is because one of our regular
viewers. Yeah.
And then afterwards, I forgot to put the thing on the live feed earlier, so I messed up again. But
from
you want to close it off, Mr. Wade?
It's from us on the show.
Just to close it off.
I want to say good night and thank you for viewing and for supporting us. And may God continue to bless you and keep you safe. And may God bless Belize.
Amen. Thank you very much. Good night.